Hey there, STEM Spark listeners. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I'm Courtney, and welcome back to the STEM Spark, the podcast where we ignite curiosity, creativity, and confidence in every learner through science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. Today, I have something a little different, but totally inspiring for you. We're diving into a book talk featuring a fun little read aloud called What to Do with a Box, written by Jane Yolen and illustrated by Chris Sheban. Spoiler alert, I love this book. It is a simple but yet powerful, awesome book. Okay, so let's start with how do I pick a book for STEM? You might be wondering what the process is, how I decide this book is relevant while this book might not be. For me, it comes down to a couple of things. One, does the book spark curiosity or creativity? Does it hit on one of the STEM or STEAM concepts specifically? And so that can help me decide if I want to use a book to maybe reintroduce what STEAM or STEM stands for. Or I also look for books that reflect culture or engineering from different places around the world. And so that is a very simple way to bring in a conversation about how other people live, how things are different in different parts of the world, even in just the United States. Things are different in Alaska versus Florida versus the Midwest. So just helping students have a look at different places through a book is a great way to do that. All right, so what to do with a box checks a lot of those boxes, pun intended. Why do books matter in STEM? Let's talk about why books are powerful. STEM has a lot of applications, and it hits a lot of different topics. And so picture books open the door to those possibilities. They give students a starting point, a spark, and then we just let their imaginations do the rest. A good book can clothe STEM principles and projects in real-world context and creative solutions to everyday problems, helping kids connect not only intellectually with the project, but emotionally with the characters or the problem or the issue or what have you. And so I think it just helps make STEM a little bit more rounded in the sense of it brings in a more personal component. All right, so let me tell you about this book. This is a sweet, poetic invitation to imagine the possibilities of something as simple as a cardboard box. It shows how a box can be anything. It talks about a reading nook, a race car, a pirate ship, a robot costume. The words are few. There's not a lot to read, but it is powerful. And the illustrations are beautiful and open-ended, giving kids permission to truly dream about the possibility of that box. It's not like putting the ideas in the box even. All right, so who's this book for? I would say the book was written for early elementary learners. Kindergarten through second grade is probably the sweet spot, but honestly, older kids still get excited about the idea of transforming a box into something amazing. I have personally used this book with students from kindergarten through 8th grade, and they all loved it. I did do a video read aloud, and so I think that kind of helped a little bit with the engagement of the older kids, because they didn't feel as much like somebody was reading to them. They were like watching the video, so it was a little different feel for that. So after we read the book, I gave my students one simple challenge. You've got a cardboard box. What will you create? So for kindergarten through third grade, there were no constraints, no instructions, just freedom. And the results, y'all, they were amazing. We had cars, we had animal homes, we had animals. Somebody made a box turtle. It was cool. And a bee. It was fun. There was one student that made a guitar with strings, and every project had a fun story behind it. For the upper grades, we added a bit more structure. Teachers wanted to kind of hit some of those higher level concepts within the creativity component, and so they had to measure and those types of skills they were using with theirs. And so some students made games. We had several carnival style games. Others built scale models. Some were tasked with designing a building or a place. I think one group did an ecosystem because they were studying ecosystems. So their box became different ecosystems that they were studying. And it was just so fun. It was really, truly wonderful to see the range of creativity and innovation that these students had. I think sometimes, too, it's really important to be in tune with your students. And if a student is struggling with something very open-ended, giving them kind of a category to pick from, I think really helps kind of narrow down the endless possibilities. I've definitely seen that with certain kids. They just get overwhelmed at the amount of options. And so just giving them a suggestion of, could you make a game? Could you make an ecosystem for an animal? Could you make an animal? Like giving them those kinds of things kind of helps narrow down and feel a little less overwhelming. All right, so I will be honest with you and tell you we actually did this as a school-wide STEM project. So National STEM Day is early November every year, and every year, because I am the STEM teacher, I make my whole school do a school-wide project. I really love the idea of kindergartners seeing that 8th graders are doing the same things they're doing, or 5th graders being able to talk with their little reading buddies in 2nd grade about, oh, what did you make for STEM Day? And so I just really love being able to push out something that siblings can talk together or friends from different grade levels can chat about, because they all did something very, very similar. And so students worked for an hour or so on their project and then lined the halls with their creations. And as classes walked through the building, they got to see all of the brilliant thinking, the imagination on display. And it was such a fantastic experience. And the best part, we used recycled boxes brought from home and simple classroom art supplies. Some kids worked with a partner, some worked solo, and honestly, y'all, the magic really just unfolded. It was phenomenal. It was the lowest prep activity. Really, it was just communicating to families, please send in a box for your child. And then, of course, I had a bunch of boxes stashed in my classroom for those who forgot. But it was so fun. It was so fun. All right. That's really the magic of what to do with a box. It encourages that divergent style thinking, which is a vital part of STEM learning. It shows kids that there isn't just one way to solve a problem. And it helps them realize that ordinary materials like a cardboard box, some scissors, glue, and some construction paper can become extraordinary tools for invention and creativity. Personally, I love this book because it reminds us to slow down. It helps us to look at the world with wonder and imagination. And I think sometimes we get so caught up, especially in the STEM realm, of we need fancy materials or we need high-tech tools to get kids excited about STEM. But really, sometimes all you need is a cardboard box and a little imagination. So, it's your turn. All right, STEM Spark listeners, I'll leave you with this final question. What would you do with a box? Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to follow the show, leave a review if you're loving it, and share it with a fellow educator, parent, or STEM enthusiast. I'll be back next week with more ideas to keep your STEM out of the box. This is Courtney, and you've been listening to The STEM Spark, where curiosity sparks creativity. Stick around if you would like to hear a read aloud of What to Do with a Box by Jane Yolen, illustrated by Chris Sheban. What to do with a box. A box. A box is a strange device. You can open it once. You can open it twice. You can climb inside and there read a book. It can be a library, palace, or nook. You can lock the door with a magical key. Invite your dolls to come in for tea. You can paint a landscape with sun, sand, and sky. Or crayon an egret that's flying right by. Or paint a blue river and very green trees. You can borrow a fan just to make a small breeze. You can drive in that box all around a dirt track. You can sail in that box off to Paris and back. A box is a wonder indeed, the only such magic that you'll ever need. So come for a visit right now, right this day. I've got a grand box just so we two can play. The end. Thanks for listening. Bye.